Here is an example of a design made up of 4 components. The components are the connecting rod, the piston, the crank, and the end. Ordinarily, there are supposed to be some relationships between these ones. Between these components, there should be some relationship. This is not a completed work yet, because you will see later on that we will still separate the connecting rod into at least 3 or 4 different subcomponents. So it will be a component of components. The piston is already a component with 2 things. For instance, if we open up the piston, you will see that there are bodies and there is still another component called the pin. And so that this pin inside is part of is a subcomponent to the piston. And then we have the crank side there, which is a component on its own. And then the rotor end, which is still a component. Thus far, we have not done anything. We have not done anything like creating relationships between these 4 components. These 4 main components, even though componentizing them allows us to create relationships, but the relationships have not been done. And because relationships have not been done, let me show you some things that will happen. For instance, if I just move this end here, I can move it away because nobody said that end is attached. Nobody said this end must be attached to this side. Nobody said so. I can move this connecting rod. I can move it away, and it can pass through, the components themselves, so they can walk into each other. There's nobody that says that this thing cannot pass, these bodies cannot pass. They are simply drawings. What relationships do? Relationships try to create some realism in enforcing constraining rules that will make this thing behave as if they are real bodies. That is the reason for the constraining rules. So what we are going to do is that we are going to go back to the way everything was rearranged before, and we are going to now put some of those constraining rules. But before we do that, we need to create another component, and that component will be a representation of the cylinder inside which the piston is going to move. And in order to do that, we create a sketch. Say create sketch. You create that sketch, we create it on top of this surface. And in order to do that, we first of all do something like a projection. We project this circle onto the new sketch. And after projecting it, we can now hide the bodies that we have. After we have projected, because that's all we really need there. So we have projected, and we have this now. So first of all, I can now create a center circle. I can create a circle here, and I can make that circle slightly bigger. I can first of all make it this size to start with, and then I can do an offset of it. If I can offset that, I can offset that by some small distance there, and so let me just offset it a little bit. Okay, that's okay. Let me just do it by 12 millimeters. Okay, so and I can now offset with that. I think that is essentially okay, but I want to create some tolerance. Maybe I should leave it like that. And if I finish that sketch, I can take that sketch that I've done. Let's see the sketch again, and I can build an extrusion. I can build an extrusion there. I can create extrude, and what I want to extrude is here. I can extrude it. I can extrude it up. Let us say the extrusion is both sides. Both sides, 2 sides. So I can extrude it up and down a little bit. Let's also say that let's hope that's not too much. And then make a component out of it. You can make a component out of it. New component. I'm going to call that component So I have a cylinder there. So what I want to do about this, what I want to do to this cylinder is that I want to create an opacity control for it, and let the opacity control be like 30. And if that is okay, so I can now allow all the other things to show. Okay, so I have this now, and I deliberately want the cylinder to be visible and to be transparent, so that we can continue to see what's happening to the